Here is why selling does not work. And as I have learned so much about selling, and whether it's in the job interview context or in the private sector sales pitch context, or you're being your own boss and selling in your own business, whatever the selling you are doing, I have realized these are the three things that makes selling not work. And I want to explain to you why, at least from my experience and coaching clients who want to get good at job interviews, sales pitches, or sales conversations, and help you understand what might be not going well for you. And also, I'm hosting a webinar today at 5 p.m. Central European Time, where I'm discussing what works instead. What is the energy? What is the self concept? What is the actions? What is the way that we can do selling that works? Hi everyone, my name is Isela Urbanova, life coach for transitioning humanitarians. And I have been learning a lot about selling in general and in particular in the context with the aim to help my clients, humanitarian clients, get good at getting the jobs they want to, making the impact they want to, starting their own businesses and making the impact that way, or working for a private company. And as I have explored and studied and what works and what doesn't work, and of course there are a lot of tons of material online about it, but I thought it might be important to hear from a humanitarian who is looking at this from the perspective of, since we seem to be now forced into situations where we are competing with so many people, we are trying to figure out the best way that we can showcase our expertise and who we are. It seems like selling becomes such an inevitable part of everything that we're doing. Even though we don't like maybe the idea of it, maybe we don't use the word selling, but it's essentially the same thing. Whether we're arguing for our case or selling, we are in some way, one way or another, or selling our ideas, or pitching our ideas, we're one way or another doing this. And I have found that there are three things that make selling not work at all. And I have done this so many times. This is a mistake in job interviews as well as in sales conversations. And I can see also a lot of my humanitarian clients struggle to do that. I also coach entrepreneurs and I see them doing this as well. And I wanted to find a way to simplify it and make this so easy for you to catch if this is what you're doing. And then I would love to invite you to the webinar where we discuss how you can develop your own natural, authentic, honest way of doing it differently. So the first reason why is because of importance. Because of importance that we place to that conversation, to that job interview, to the people who are looking at us, to the people who are listening to us in our sales pitch, to the people who are potential clients in the sales conversation. The importance that we put in that conversation makes everything unnatural, makes everything performative, makes everything feel like we are in the getting energy, right? And the getting energy, which is a term that I heard from Stacey Bayman, an amazing coach. And we get into this performative getting energy. So if we are putting importance to something so much, like we're making it into a pedestal, we are putting this into a pedestal of, this is so important, it has to work, I have to have this, whatever it is that we're trying. And if we place that importance, then we get into an unnatural state. we get into a state that is so different than who we are in the natural, relaxed, grounded state. And therefore, we start performing in the way that does not help the conversation. And the reason why that is because if we are putting the importance to something and we're making something so much into the pedestal, that means that we are not putting ourselves into importance. We're putting ourselves into an asking or like requesting or desperate energy in some way or needy energy. And that's why other people can sense it and the conversation will not flow the way that it could have if it was a natural, authentic conversation. And also because as humanities, I think we're going through a lot of conversations now where it just feels transactional, as I keep saying, right? Therefore, if we notice someone being performative or getting energy, then we're not really going to enjoy that conversation either. So therefore, we want to get away from it as quickly as possible. And again, as I said, I have done this many times, and sometimes I do it nowadays as well, and I feel like, oh, I don't want to be in that energy, right? So that's the first reason. Putting the importance to the point that we get so pressure ourselves, we get so anxious, or we get so nervous that we tend to go to the performative energy because we believe that's a safe energy, because we just then like say the right things and say whatever that is need to be said, forgetting about how we're feeling behind those words, right? And those words don't have the same importance, the same weight and emphasis as it could have, because we're putting the importance on the other person, because we're putting the importance on the job interview, or maybe because we're putting the importance on even getting a job in at all, right? So therefore, the way that I always think about it is that universe does not want us to feel less than, does not want us to undermine our own power, does not want us to be in the needy, desperate, getting performative energy. That's why we don't really get to what we want to, and we end up sabotaging ourselves. So the question then is, how do we reduce that importance, right? The biggest way that I know how to do that is believing we have other options. Believing we are capable, or we are someone who always has options if this does not work. That way we don't have that importance, and therefore we put the importance on the things that we are saying, on who we are and how we're saying and communicating our messages, and not on the, oh my god, this has to work, I finally got a job interview, or I finally got to talk to this person in the private company, or I finally got a potential client, so let me do this in a way that it works. That is going to fail, unfortunately. As I said, I've done it many times, and that does not work. So that's why whenever you are preparing yourself for a job interview, sales pitches, conversations, ask yourself how much you are putting the importance to it, and why are you putting that importance. That means that you are not believing something about yourself, about your expertise, and therefore you are putting that importance. It's a bit like going on a date, right? On a date, when we go on a date with someone, we feel like the cutest, the best, I don't know, the greatest, the coolest guy that we're dating. If we're going on a date, we would be like so much importance on them versus, wait a minute, I want to get to know this human, if this human is for me or not, right? Or I am for this person or not. So we need to be careful. The second reason why selling does not work is because we get so attached. And it's similar to the importance, right? Because we put so much importance, we then get attached as to the outcome. And the reason why I'm having this like exhale now is I had this so many times recently as well, and I'm like, come on, Estelle, how can you like not see this coming, right? And a lot of the times it's so difficult to like know that that's what's happening. And the way that I know that this is happening is when I'm like intense, tense in some way, and keep thinking about it, keep it's like thinking about how it's gonna go and what's gonna go and all of this, right? So getting attached to the outcome is bound to fail as well. And I have seen this many times in my own experience. And as I coach my people who are also doing their own selling experience or in the job interviews, they can see that, oh, it didn't work again, right? Now, again, why do we get attached to the outcome? Because we really want the outcome to work. And why do we want the outcome to work? Because we believe if we have that outcome, our problems are solved. So it seems like the universe wants us to solve our problems before we see that solution. In other words, we don't get addicted or dependent on that outcome to feel a certain way. Because universe or whoever you believe in, or maybe yourself, you are wired in a way that you have the ability or you are capable of feeling whatever emotion you want, irrespective of that thing happening or not. So, in other words, you have the freedom to feel unattached, to feel fulfilled, to feel successful, to feel worthy, whether you get that job or not, whether you get that client or not, whether you get that company or not. And the more you feel fulfilled, successful, unattached, knowing you have all the options, knowing that you get your goal anyway, no matter what, the more you feel in that energy of sufficiency, the more you are able to get that outcome as well. So how do you get unattached, right? Or how do you learn to not be attached is knowing that the outcome is not in your control, but you need to focus on what is within your control, right? But also B, knowing that you can feel whatever you want to feel now. And if you are focused on the outcome, probably means that you are missing the point, meaning that you are not feeling the emotion that you want, and you are conditioning that emotion to getting that thing, and that way you are complicating your own journey. And it seems like life knows that and does not want us to complicate things and say, hey, you have all the emotions you want to already within you. You can feel them already now. And in fact, it's good that you feel them now before you get it, so that otherwise you don't keep conditioning your brain that in order to feel successful, you need that job. In order to feel worthy, you need that relationship, right? We have all been there. The third reason why selling doesn't work is when we get into judgments. And again, boy, I have judgmental brain at times that just does not want to like stop shutting up. And it took me a lot of ways to learn how to not be judgmental and create a safe and neutral space. This is also part of my thanks to my coaching work, right? But one thing that's important to notice is that judgment makes any selling go the other direction, because we can sense when other people are judging us. We can sense we feel uncomfortable when others judging us. And this can happen in the job interview, right? You are judging them for not giving you the job or not liking you, or you are afraid of them judging you. Therefore, you get into the performative energy, right? And therefore, you lose your authentic, natural way of doing things. And therefore, you are not going to get the thing that you want to. So then the question is, Why do we judge it? If we know that this is getting us the opposite result than we want, why are we judging it, right? Because we believe that that way somehow we can fix things or we can save things, we can rescue things. But why? Why do we believe that we can rescue or save or whatever? Because in my experience, it was never possible. I don't know. I couldn't save anything in the job interview because I was afraid of panel's judgment. There was nothing I could. Because if the more I tried to save something or rescue my speech or whatever, the more I stumbled and, like forgot the things. And then the more I felt awkward and it just didn't work. So, what if instead we recognize that judgment might be coming from fear of failing, fear of doing something wrong, fear of not messing this up, and then learning that if we keep being in the judgment energy, we are in fact failing, we are in fact giving power to fear, we are in fact messing things up, and therefore the best way we can continue is keeping our authentic lane, our honest lane, and keep pursuing saying things the way we want to, and try not to go into the judgment area as much as we can. And there are a lot of practices and exercise you can do to not judge, and that you can even practice outside of the selling conversations or job interviews. You can do that even like in your daily life. Notice yourself, how many times do you judge people or you judge yourself, right? And how automatic that is. And the more we learn how that's impacting our conversations, how that's impacting our connections and relationships, the more we realize we're harming ourselves. So, I would like for us to continue this conversation in the webinar where we're discussing, okay, what works then, right? What works and how can we do it without performative and getting energy? How can we do it authentically, honestly? How can we do it in our own way that doesn't feel, oh, I hate this, or I hope I would never go there anymore? Is it possible to do it? And if so, how? That's what I would like to discuss with you. So if you haven't joined yet, sign up the link below. And if you'd like to work on this, obviously come coach with me. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll talk to you very soon.